Chapter 2331, Very Good Taste, 2. See, their triplets had been raised well by Jiaonan. Even though Jiaonan was always busy with her studies, the three children were still close to their mom. If Jiaonan had not put enough effort into raising them, they would never have been so attached to her. Children were the purest. They didn't use their eyes to judge a person, but their hearts. As a mom who couldn't raise her children well, Miaojing had no right to demand Zihua or Zisheng to be good parents. Miaojing had not even felt it when Zihua and Jiajia had been in a bad place, so there was no way she could expect Zisheng to be that alert either. It went without question that Zisheng had only noticed because Jiaonan had reminded him. That was enough. Her daughter-in-law cared for Hua and Jiajia. Where else would she find such a good daughter-in-law? Those who said that the Zai family was blind to have allowed Zisheng to marry this sort of woman were the ones who were blind. She had never needed to worry when they compared their children, much less when they compared their daughters-in-law. She dared to say that Nan was the best daughter-in-law in the entire quad. It was common for those daughters-in-law with high educational qualifications and good family backgrounds to kick up a fuss the moment they married into the families. Only their family had gotten even more tight-knitted and united after Nan had married into their family. Thinking about how Zisheng had had such good judgment and had found himself such a good wife, Miaojing no longer looked at Zisheng with an accusing gaze. In fact, she looked at Zisheng so kindly that he couldn't help but get goosebumps. "Mom, you can just let me know if you need me to do anything. Don't look at me like that. It feels awkward." The only one who could make the chief feel this way was his mom, Miaojing. Miaojing had intended on scoffing at Zisheng but eventually held it in. "It's nothing. I'm just thinking about how you have good judgment in marrying Nan. No, more precisely, he had never had better judgment in his entire life than when he had insisted on marrying Nan. Miaojing couldn't help but wonder why Zisheng had suddenly come to his senses and had insisted on marrying Jiaonan. God knew that Miaojing had suspected more than once that her son liked men instead of women. If that turned out to be true, what would she do? Should she object to Zisheng's decision for the sake of the Zai family's reputation? Or should she allow her son to find a partner as long as he lay low for the sake of his happiness? Then, Zisheng would, at least, have someone by his side when she and old Zai passed away. Looking back at those times, Miaojing's expression changed. Miaojing's gaze toward Jiaonan was no different from the big bad wolf eyeing Little Red Riding Hood. It was Jiaonan who had changed Zisheng's mind. To exaggerate a little, Jiaonan was the Zai family's savior and benefactor. Without Jiaonan, Zisheng would still be an old bachelor, and neither would she have three adorable grandchildren to carry. Jiaonan shivered a little under Miaojing's gaze and she hid behind Zisheng as she whispered, "Brother Zai, what's with Mom? She was looking at you with this gaze and now, me. Did I do something wrong?" After all, she had only brought up Jiajia's matter because she was concerned about Jiajia and sister Zihua. Seeing that his wife had scared his daughter-in-law, Zai Yaowai knew that Miaojing truly liked Jiaonan and that his son had chosen the right partner. But as a husband, Zai Yaowai had to admit that Miaojing's gaze was indeed frightening. It was no wonder his daughter-in-law could not handle it. "Meow meow, I want to eat some fruits. Why don't you get some from the kitchen?" Their daughter-in-law was part of their family, but what if she ran away because of Meow Meow's gaze? "I'll go get it." As a hard-working daughter-in-law, Jiaonan would never sit around and wait to be served when her father-in-law had any needs. Miaojing waved Jiaonan off. "I'll go. I've been sitting for a long time while playing with the children. My legs are sore. It's good for me to get some exercise by cutting some fruits. Otherwise, I'll feel even sorer." Since Miaojing said that, and because Zisheng pulled her back, Jiaonan did not insist on it and allowed Miaojing to cut some fruits with the auntie. After Miaojing left, Zai Yaowai finally spoke up. "You two should keep an eye out for Zihua. In other families, older sisters are like mothers. But I'll have to trouble you a little in our family. Zihua has been pampered ever since she was young. She doesn't behave like a mother even now that she's a mother. It's hard on you too. Zai Yaoai's words were directed at Xiao Nan. It was only because of her that Zai Sheng was praised too. Parents understood their children best. When Zai Yaoai said that Zihua had been spoiled and didn't act like a mother, the reality was that Zai Sheng's situation was not much better. The only difference between the siblings was that Zai Sheng had had good judgment and had married the right person. As such, Zai Sheng would gradually learn to be a good parent to the 3 children under Xiao Nan's influence. Obviously, Zihua's luck had been much worse. She had not been mature enough, and neither did she know how to be a good parent. Unfortunately, she had met Wei Dai, who was equally irresponsible as a parent. That was how they had landed up in such a state today. Because of her partner, Zihua had not gotten the chance to mature or grow. It was difficult but important to find the right life partner. Knowing just how important Xiao Nan was, Zai Yaoai knew that it was all thanks to Xiao Nan that Zai Sheng was learning to be a good father. What Zai Yaoai was thankful for was Xiao Nan's generosity. She was not in the least bit petty and was even willing to care for her husband's sister. Not every daughter-in-law was willing to do that. Zai Yaoai agreed with something that Miao Jing had said. All those who had laughed at the Zai family for allowing an old woman into their family were fools. No one could tell on a surface level whether a daughter-in-law was good. Only by living with them would they be able to find out what kind of woman their sons had married. It's not tough at all. Xiao Nan was not a robot without feelings. She could feel that her father-in-law had kept his gaze on her the whole time, without even sparing Zai Sheng a glance. Chapter 2332, Very Good Taste, 3. Xiao Nan felt a little flattered that she had received both her mother-in-law and father-in-law's adoration. They were family. Besides, she had been best friends with sister Zihua in her dream. Zihua hadn't seemed like her sister-in-law at all. As such, Xiao Nan's feelings toward Zihua had not changed even in reality. If not for the fact that Shi Qing was reluctant to accept Xiao Nan, their relationship would have been just as passionate as it had been in her dream as well. At the mention of Shi Qing, Xiao Nan's mood worsened. Ever since Shi Qing had turned up for her wedding to Zai Sheng, Xiao Nan had never seen Shi Qing again. As the Zai family's daughter-in-law, it was naturally much easier for Xiao Nan to find out about Shi Qing. It was because of this that Xiao Nan knew that Shi Qing had never met Zhu Baoqiu, and her heart had remained firmly on Zai Sheng all these years. In fact, her love for Zai Sheng had never changed and had even gotten stronger over the years. In her dream, Shi Qing had told Xiao Nan that her feelings toward Zai Sheng were more idolatrous than romantic. But in this lifetime, even though she had never interacted with Shi Qing, Xiao Nan was sure that Shi Qing was in love with Zai Sheng and dreamed of getting married to Zai Sheng and having children with him. But there was only one Zai Sheng. Besides, she loved Zai Sheng too. Xiao Nan had never been particularly heroic. After all, everyone had a selfish side to them. She couldn't possibly give up Zai Sheng for Shi Qing's sake just because of the friendship that they had shared in the dream, while she remained single for the rest of her life. She had not snatched Shi Qing's happiness away from her by getting married to Zai Sheng. After all, in the 10 to 20 years before she had appeared, Shi Qing had not made any progress with Zai Sheng either. Understanding that, Xiao Nan could only care for Shi Qing from afar. She knew that Shi Qing had no intention of getting married, even though Shi Qing was older than her. In addition, before she had given birth to the triplets, Shi Qing had adopted an unweaned child from the orphanage to raise as her own. It could be said that Shi Qing's current condition was one of the reasons Xiao Nan hated Wang Yang and couldn't let him off. If Wang Yang had not caused the death of Zhu Baoqiu, Shi Qing would have gotten married. Zai Sheng had always treated Shi Qing as his younger sister. Once Shi Qing met Zhu Baoqiu, Xiao Nan was sure that Shi Qing would insist on being with him, just as she had in her dream. With a husband like Zhu Baoqiu, the Feng family would never dare to continue bullying Shiqing or taking advantage of her, forcing her to start a new life in the military. In short, everything could be linked to Wang Yang indirectly. It was truly difficult for Qiaonan to have any good feelings toward Wang Yang at all, much less let Wang Yang off or even give him some benefits and end the lawsuit. Wang Yang had ruined so many lives as well as the happiness of so many people, especially when Zhu Chenqi passed on. Qiaonan was determined not to split the inheritance with Wang Yang. In fact, he had better not even dream of getting a single cent from her. She would much rather donate the Zhu family's assets to the country than let Wang Yang have the bargain. Qiaonan was never going to change her mind on this matter. She knew that the lawsuit had only been temporarily paused. Given Li Yin's and Wang Yang's tempers, it wouldn't take a few days before Li Yin would come to find her. It was true that one could not speak ill of others behind their backs. Qiaonan had just had such a thought and she actually bumped into Li Yin the very next day in school. Of course, this was no coincidence. Qiaonan, it's been a long time. I know that you have classes in the afternoon and won't go home for lunch. Shall we have lunch together? Qiaonan laughed while carrying her books. What status are you eating with me as? Li Yin laughed bitterly. When did you find out about my identity? She had thought that she had concealed it well, but she had been so foolish. Qiaonan was the Zai family's daughter-in-law. It wouldn't take Qiaonan much effort to investigate something at all. Quite early on. After all, she had simply asked Brother Zai, who had immediately given her an answer. In order to fight the lawsuit against Wang Yang, Brother Zai had learned of the details of the Wang family and knew them like the back of his hand. Li Yin was infuriated. You knew that I was Wang Yang's wife, but you didn't expose me and instead chose to befriend me and eat with me? So, have you been treating me like a clown all this while? Qiaonan had no idea where Li Yin's extreme ideas came from, but she had no intention of explaining herself. You are the one who approached me first. Are you the only one in this world allowed to treat others like fools? Are others not allowed to retaliate? It was Li Yin who had gotten close to her with her ulterior motives and yet, she was now blaming Qiaonan for not having pure intentions. It was ridiculous that she believed that one could steal a horse while others could not look even over a hedge. Li Yin was speechless at that because she knew that Qiaonan was not wrong. In fact, she was the one at fault. Since we've cleared the air, are you still willing to eat lunch together? I'm going to the canteen. The school canteen was a public place. She wouldn't be able to control where Li Yin wanted to sit. Similarly, Li Yin had the freedom of speech. She had no right to stop Li Yin from expressing whatever she wanted to. Li Yin was not particularly stupid and could read between the lines. As such, Li Yin ordered a portion and sat right in front of Qiaonan, watching her eating ravenously. You're the Zai family's daughter-in-law. I heard that your parents-in-law like you very much and have left the Zai family's affairs to you. You've won the lawsuit and you've suddenly chanced upon so much money. Qiaonan, why are you still pretending by eating in such a filthy and run-down place? Let's both tell the truth. It's tiring and meaningless to keep up this pretense. Qiaonan rolled her eyes at Li Yin. You're the one putting up a pretense, not me. I'm not tired. Isn't it all thanks to your husband that the Zhu family's assets are being held up? Where am I supposed to get my money from then? Besides, we can't be spendthrifts just because we have money. I really think that the food in the school canteen is more affordable and delicious than what's sold outside. How stupid she would be to spend more money eating outside just to show off her status. Qiaonan could not wrap her head around Li Yin's worldviews. Chapter 2333, Retribution is Here, 1. Li Yin's lips twitched as she was left at a loss for words. Thinking about Qiaonan's experience, Li Yin had always thought that Qiaonan would act like a nouveau riche upon marrying into the Zai family. After all, her social status had risen so drastically. It was only normal for Qiaonan to go crazy. But Jiaonan did not cherish her good fortune. Her life had not changed much even after marriage. Li Yian had no clue why Jiaonan had to maintain such an attitude. Was Jiaonan not materialistic at all? I'm sure you know why I've come to look for you today. Jiaonan, not everything I said to you before was false. My situation is similar to yours. No, I should say that I'm much worse off than you in every way. Jiaonan, you can't deny that my family background is much better than yours. It's just that Zai Sheng has a higher status than Wang Yang. You were even warmly welcomed into the family by your parents-in-law after getting married. As for me, as long as I'm with my father-in-law, he'll definitely scold me non-stop for the entire day. He looks down on me and thinks that I dragged Wang Yang down. At the mention of this, Li Yian was upset. The Zai family didn't despise Jiaonan, and they even treated her as though she were a treasure. So, what right did her father-in-law have to look down on her? Whether it was Jiaonan or ladies with even higher social statuses, there might not even be anyone who was willing to marry into the Wang family because Wang Yang had such an unreasonable and demanding father. It was annoying that he looked down on others when he wasn't too outstanding himself. In the past, I always thought that my parents-in-law were bad and they were all against me. But I eventually realized that my mother-in-law was influenced by my father-in-law. Not everyone is equal. Jiaonan, you're living a much better life than me. After getting married to Wang Yang, I've always felt very stressed. Even though I've given birth to a son, my life hasn't gotten any better. Jiaonan, can you help me? To you, helping me means nothing. I'm begging you. I just want to live more comfortably. Jiaonan could only sigh that she wasn't particularly kind. Or perhaps, it was because she had gone through Jiao Zijin and Ding Jiyi's torturous training that Li Yian's words meant nothing to her now. Who wouldn't want others to make sacrifices that would benefit them? But the Zhu family's assets don't belong to you. Wang Yang is Zhu Qinqi's biological nephew. Zhu Qinqi didn't have a son, and all he had left were his younger sister and nephew. If not for you, they would have been the rightful inheritors. Jiaonan, you shouldn't be so heartless. It's immoral to snatch what rightfully belongs to others, so don't put yourself on a pedestal. Besides, since we've already lost the lawsuit, we're willing to compromise too. As long as you're willing to give Wang Yang what he deserves, we won't be demanding or insist on a specific sum. We're already humbling ourselves before you. This was the plan that Li Yian had come up with for Wang Yang. Yes, they could continue fighting the lawsuit, dragging the matter on. But Wang Yang had a son, while Jiaonan had 2 sons and a daughter. No matter how long they dragged it on, it would never change the result that Jiaonan would become the rightful owner of the Zhu family's assets. Initially, Wang Yang had thought that he would give Jiaonan whatever he deemed fit. Now, Li Yian felt that the situation was reversed. If they could convince Jiaonan to give them an 8-figure sum, that would be good too. The Zhu family's inheritance was not a small sum. If Jiaonan agreed but gave them a small sum of money, it wouldn't reflect too well on her either. Besides, since she had already agreed, there was no need to be so stingy and petty about it. No matter how vicious she had been with her words in the past, Li Yian knew when to bow her head and humble herself. Otherwise, that 8-figure sum would never have anything to do with Wang Yang and would be Jiaonan's alone. In Li Yian's opinion, however much Wang Yang could get would be good enough for them. Jiaonan might have gotten the Zhu family's assets from doing nothing, but wasn't Wang Yang doing the same? After all, Wang Yang was not a Zhu, and Mother Zhu had married out of the family. Having thought through that, Li Yian dared not act tough in front of Jiaonan. All she could do was to pretend to be pitiful so that Jiaonan would let their family off. Li Yian had made her intentions rather clear. If not for the will that Zhu Qinqi had left behind, Jiaonan would never have had anything to do with the Zhu family's assets. Since Jiaonan had lucked out with such a windfall, she had better not burn the bridges by claiming the entire Zhu family's inheritance for herself while Wang Yang, who was actually a relative of the Zhu family, got nothing at all. After all, Xiao Nan was the Zai family's daughter-in-law and the wife of a chief. There was no need to ruin her own reputation for this sum of money. Xiao Nan, I haven't been married to Wang Yang for that long. Our son is still in kindergarten. I'm not asking for much. I just hope that you'll give Wang Yang a way out. You're a mom too. Don't you think we have to think about our children? I wasn't entirely making use of you throughout our past interactions. I did have some feelings for you. I'm begging you. The Wang family's situation is complicated. If Wang Yang goes away with nothing, he'll never be able to explain himself to the Wang family. And his dignity would come crashing down too. Wang Yang had somewhat come to his senses with Mother Zhu's advice, but Li Yan had not. She knew that the Wang family would definitely have something to say about Wang Yang if they were to fail in this matter. Li Yan didn't want Wang Yang to have worked so hard for nothing, and neither did she want her son to grow up in such an environment. She knew that Xiao Nan would never agree to unreasonable demands. As such, they would simply take as much as Xiao Nan was willing to offer them. At the very least, that would be better than losing their lawyer's fees. Xiao Nan, who had finished her meal, took a sip of water. She felt that she might very well get indigestion if she were to continue listening to Li Yan. Do you feel aggrieved for Wang Yang because Wang Yang was Chief Zhu's only nephew, but Chief Zhu left all of the Zhu family's assets to me instead of Wang Yang? Isn't it? No one could understand why Zhu Chenqi had done so. She had already said that Zhu Chenqi was an old fogey. Unfortunately, both lawyers and doctors could prove that Zhu Chenqi had made that will on his own accord while he was still sound. Wang Yang had absolutely been wronged in this whole matter. Zhu Chenqi was crazy. Chapter 2334, Retribution is here, too. Otherwise, how could Zhu Chenqi have written a will that no one else could understand? Those who were nice sympathized with Wang Yang, while others simply ridiculed Wang Yang. You may not know it, but Zhu uncle didn't have any other relatives left by his side. He was ill and needed someone by his side taking care of him at all times. My parents-in-law have only one son, Wang Yang, but Wang Yang chose to leave the Wang family to take care of his uncle. Thankfully, my parents-in-law have always been in good health, so we didn't need to worry too much about them. Wang Yang may be a good nephew, but he sure isn't a good son. He has never been so good to his own parents or my parents. Li Yan grew more agitated as she spoke, and she couldn't help but slam the table, drawing some attention from others. Feeling the stares, Li Yan reined in her temper and lowered her voice. Wang Yang sacrificed so much for his uncle. It doesn't matter what his motives are. Is there anything wrong in expecting his uncle to hand everything over to him? Of course, my husband has done nothing wrong, and neither have you. The only one to be blamed is his uncle who made that will. My husband took care of him like a son since he had no sons. How could he be so heartless toward my husband? Yes, how can people be so shameless? Xiao Nan had to resist the urge to splash the cup of water in her hands toward Li Yan's face. She was indeed Wang Yang's wife. They were equally shameless. She had seen tons of shameless people, especially Ding Ji and Xiao Zijin. She had always thought that those two women were the best of the best, but Li Yan had suddenly turned up and refreshed Xiao Nan's knowledge and limit. Li Yan was at a loss, having been suddenly scolded by Xiao Nan. You? What do you mean? Are you saying that I'm shameless? Li Yan felt that Xiao Nan probably didn't mean to say that. After all, she hadn't done anything too shameless. But from Xiao Nan's tone and expression, Li Yan felt that her suspicions were right. Xiao Nan was indeed scolding her and Wang Yang. At that moment, Li Yan could no longer hold it in. You took advantage of others, but you dare to scold others like this. Xiao Nan, don't you think you're going overboard? She had better not think that she was above everyone just because she was the chief's wife. Xiao Nan, aside from the law, there are still morals in this world. If we get anyone to judge this matter, no one will ever think well of you. Besides, I've already made myself clear. If we continue with the lawsuit, it's true that we won't win. I'm not making an unreasonable request. I'm just hoping that you'll do what's right. Perhaps, Wang Yang might even have the chance to work with your husband in the future. Qiaonan was being overbearing and aggressive now. What if Wang Yang got the chance to work with Zai Sheng in the future? What would Qiaonan do then? Qiaonan slapped her forehead. You're so full of yourself. Do you really think everyone else is a fool? I know very well who took care of Chief Zhu in his last years. But was it really because Wang Yang thought of Chief Zhu as his uncle, who was even closer to him than his own parents, that he stayed by Chief Zhu's side to take care of him? He only did so because of the promise of a great reward at the end of everything. I'm sure you know that better than I do. Li Yayan's expression soured. So what if it's true? Even if we didn't have pure intentions in taking care of uncle, at least we did what we had to do before he passed away. Let's reason it out. My husband and I took care of uncle for such a long time. We had to fork out money for his hospital bills, medical bills, meals, and everything else. Even if all of the Zhu family's assets go to my husband. It's what he rightfully deserves since we've sacrificed so much. On the other hand, you are being unreasonable. It didn't matter what their true intentions were. Only when one sowed would one reap. Both she and Wang Yang had worked hard by taking good care of that old man in the few years before his death. Therefore, it was only right for Wang Yang to inherit all of Zhu Chenqi's assets after his death. Why should Qiaonan be involved at all? Wang Yang took care of uncle for a few years. Besides, he's a descendant of the Zhu family too. What's wrong with him inheriting the Zhu family's assets? But you have nothing to do with the Zhu family at all, and neither did you ever show up while uncle was ill. Did you even take care of him for a single day? Do you really think it's fair for you to inherit his money while doing nothing at all? Do you think it's moral? After putting in so much effort, how much Wang Yang got would depend entirely on Qiaonan's mood. What was different was that Qiaonan had never put in any effort in taking care of Zhu Chenqi, and yet, she could comfortably receive her inheritance. There was truly no justice in the world. After saying all that, you're just after the Zhu family's money, right? Alright, maybe I wasn't clear enough before. Or perhaps, I didn't have the opportunity to make myself clear to you. Since you're here, I won't spare my words. I think it's a waste to be polite to you people from the Wang family. Anyone from the Wang family, including Wang Yang, had better not even dream of touching anything of the Zhus, be it money or resources. Even if you just want money now, I'm sorry. I'm not giving you anything. Qiaonan was brutally blunt with her words. Once all of the Zhu family's assets are in my hands, not only will I not give anything to Wang Yang, but I'd even donate all of the Zhu family's money rather than give it to that ingrate, Wang Yang. The Wang family has worked in vain all these years. Zhu Baoquo's death very much had to do with Wang Yang. It was not because of his own good luck that he had gotten away with it, but because the entire Wang family had helped him clean up his mess. This was what Zai Sheng had discovered. After finding out about all these, Qiaonan had no good feelings for anyone from the Wang family. It was already good enough that she didn't take the initiative to provoke them. The problem was that the Wang family was still hoping to get something out of her. How ridiculous! Chapter 2335, Retribution is here, 3. There was no need for the Wang family to even ask her about this. There was absolutely no way she would ever agree to it. It would, perhaps, be even faster if they dreamed about it instead. Not only had Qiaonan disagreed, but she had even criticized the entire Wang family. At that, Li Yayan could no longer hold her true feelings in. Qiaonan, don't think you're so high and mighty. You snatched what is rightfully Wang Yang's, and yet, you're criticizing the Wang family? How has the Wang family provoked you? In what way are they ingrates? Li Yayan was reluctant to admit that Qiaonan was clearly accusing Wang Yang. I'm sticking to my guns. Wang Yang is only getting what he deserves. In fact, whatever he's getting is definitely less than what he deserves. Don't go overboard. I might just fight back. She was not going to let anyone scold her husband under her watch. Mother Zhu shared the same thoughts. Father Wang had been infuriated by Wang Yang a few days earlier, and Wang Yang was no longer willing to let his father control him any further. Having given it some thought, Wang Yang thought that it would be better for Mother Zhu to bring her grandson to the capital for a family reunion instead of staying in Pingcheng and getting influenced by the Wang family. After arriving in the capital, Mother Zhu's concern was still about the lawsuit against Jiaonan. Knowing that her daughter-in-law, Li Yan, was going to meet Jiaonan, Mother Zhu followed without a second of hesitation. She wanted to see just how evil Jiaonan looked. How had she managed to bewitch Zai-Sheng so much so that he had gotten married at his age and had even given birth to 3 children in the short span of a year? Since Mother Zhu had no clue about Li Yan's plan, she had not dared to show up for fear of ruining Li Yan's plan. Seeing the pair enter the school canteen and sitting down in a corner, Mother Zhu found a convenient spot to hide and eavesdropped on the conversation between her daughter-in-law and Jiaonan. Even though Mother Zhu had never looked down on Li Yan like Father Wang, Mother Zhu agreed, for the first time, that it was not too bad for Wang Yang to have married Li Yan after seeing how she was willing to humble herself for her son's sake. If this had been any other woman, they might not even have been willing to be involved in Wang Yang's matters, let alone run around and beg for mercy from others. If Li Yan's performance was satisfactory to Mother Zhu, Jiaonan's haughtiness and arrogance irked Mother Zhu terribly. It was exactly because she had seen what kind of person Jiaonan was that Mother Zhu was even more confused as to why Zhu Qinqi had made such a will. Her brother must have been in the wrong state of mind to have decided to leave his inheritance to someone like that. Mother Zhu had already been infuriated, and the moment she heard Jiaonan slander the Wang family's name as well as her son, saying that her son was an ingrate, Mother Zhu could no longer hold it in. She rushed out and sat down beside Li Yan, speaking to Jiaonan in a stern voice. Don't think that you're above everyone just because you married into the Zai family. Everything you say has legal consequences. I dare you to slander my son again. My brother's will has really boosted your ego. What right do you have to compare yourself to my son? What has Yang done wrong? Why do you describe him as an ingrate? Mom. Li Yan was speechless. She had been having a good conversation with Jiaonan, but her mother-in-law had suddenly rushed out and was even fiercer than her. Li Yan could not even grasp the situation for a moment. Mom, why are you here? Aren't you at home? Did you leave the child alone? Of course, Mother Zhu would never be so careless with her grandson. Don't worry. I found a good place. Kong Kong won't get lost, but he's not the main point now. Is this the woman who bewitched my brother and is going to inherit his assets? Seeing Jiaonan, Mother Zhu was extremely disappointed. She couldn't see anything extraordinary about Jiaonan. So, why had her brother gone crazy to make such a stupid will? It was ridiculous. What did you tell my brother? What did you feed him to make him lose all sense? Besides, what right do you have to donate the Zhu family's money instead of letting Yang have a single cent? Who are you to have the guts to say such things? Mother Zhu was fuming and there were too many things she wanted to scold Jiaonan about. Not only had this old woman criticized her lovely son, but she had even set her eyes on the Zhu family's money and resources. There was no way Mother Zhu could remain silent in the face of this. She didn't even need Father Wang to push her on to act on this now that someone was trying to snatch her family's things. Yan spoke to you nicely and humbled herself before you. She even let you make your own decision in this, but this is how you're treating her? Forget it that you're fierce, but you're so heartless. If you don't explain yourself clearly, I'm not going to let this go. Did she think that a simple apology would end everything after she had scolded others? Sorry, she would never let that happen. As Wang Yang's mother, she would never let Jiaonan off if Jiaonan didn't explain herself clearly. She knew that Mother Zhu was Zhu Baoquo's only aunt. Hearing that Mother Zhu was trying to seek justice for Wang Yang without even mentioning Zhu Baoquo, Jiaonan felt that there was no need for any explanation on her part. Even if she did explain herself, no one would believe her anyway. After all, the Wang family had done a good job in cleaning up after themselves at that time. It had been a few decades since that incident. At that time, no one had managed to link Wang Yang to Zhu Baoquo's death. Now that so many years had passed, almost all evidence had been destroyed. What could Jiaonan say in front of Mother Zhu, who was Wang Yang's biological mother? "I'm sorry. I've finished my meal. You two can continue with your conversation. I think that your retribution is finally here." Chapter 2336, The Truth That Came Late, 1. Even though it had been more than 20 years since Zhu Baoquo's death, Wang Yang had better not think that he could live a blissful life after killing Zhu Baoquo. That would never happen. Mother Zhu quickly grabbed Jiaonan's elbow. "You can't leave. You haven't made yourself clear. What has our Yang Yang done for you to criticize him in that manner? If it's really Yang Yang's fault, I'll definitely make him apologize to everyone. But if it has nothing to do with Yang Yang, you'd better apologize to him. Besides, don't you think you should have a little conscience regarding the lawsuit?" Mother Zhu was the Zhu family's daughter and had inherited their temper. While expressing her trust in Wang Yang, Mother Zhu had not forgotten about the lawsuit. Mother Zhu would never forego such a good chance of killing two birds with one stone. Having been stopped by Mother Zhu, Jiaonan couldn't help but wonder if Mother Zhu was truly ignorant or if she was pretending to be stupid. Was Wang Yang so important to Mother Zhu that she could sacrifice her nephew, Zhu Baoquo's life? After giving it some thought, Jiaonan finally spoke up. "You're Wang Yang's mom and you're a Zhu. You're Chief Zhu's only sister and Zhu Baoquo's only aunt, right?" "Yes." Mother Zhu answered naturally, feeling that Jiaonan had asked a strange question. Baoquo had passed on a long time ago, even before his father. Why was Jiaonan asking about Baoquo, and not about whether she was her dad's daughter? Jiaonan pursed her lips. "If I'm not wrong, Zhu Baoquo's mother passed away when he was born. Before he turned 3, you were the one who raised him. So your relationship with Zhu Baoquo was probably like one of a mother and son, right?" "Of course. After my sister-in-law passed on, I was the only woman in the family. I was the one who took care of Baoquo. I treated him like my son." It was exactly because she had such deep feelings toward him that Mother Zhu had nearly cried her eyes out at Zhu Baoquo's death. "Since that's the case, why were you so vicious to sacrifice Zhu Baoquo's life just to help Wang Yang get the Zhu family's assets? Auntie Zhu, you were the one who raised Zhu Baoquo. You said that you treated Zhu Baoquo like your son, so how could you let your younger son kill your elder son so that he could take your elder son's place? Could it be that your feelings toward Zhu Baoquo and the Zhu family aren't that genuine? Did you forget that you are a Zhu for the sake of Wang Yang? Did you forget that the Zhu family was the one who raised you and gave you a bountiful dowry so that you could marry into the Wang family? Auntie Zhu, people shouldn't be so heartless." This matter had hurt the entire Zhu family greatly. Of course, Wang Yang had hurt the Zhu family, but the one who had brought them the greatest pain was Mother Zhu. Wang Yang had grown up in the Wang family, so it wasn't strange for Wang Yang to be estranged from the Zhu family because of the Wang family's words. But Mother Zhu had grown up in the Zhu family, pampered by her father and brother. That was why Zhu Jinqi couldn't accept how Mother Zhu had been so indifferent to Zhu Baoquo's death. Both Mother Zhu and Li Yan were stunned and at a loss for words. Their jaws were opened so widely that flies could have flown in. Li Yan could not regain her senses. Zhu Baoquo had died early and Wang Yang had never mentioned him simply because he was Zhu Jinqi's son. As such, Li Yan was truly ignorant of the fact that Zhu Baoquo's death had not been so simple. In fact, it seemed like her husband even had something to do with it. No, it couldn't possibly be true. Although she did not have much understanding of the Zhu family, she knew that Zhu Baoqiu was Zhu Qinqi's only son. It was because Zhu Baoqiu had passed away in his teenage years that Wang Yang had the chance to inherit the Zhu family's assets. In that case, Li Yayan felt that Wang Yang did have a motive to attack Zhu Baoqiu. The more she thought about it, the more frightened she became. Zhu Baoqiu had died in his teens, and Wang Yang was even younger than Zhu Baoqiu. Wang Yang had done that to Zhu Baoqiu at that age. No, no. Wang Yang was her husband. They were one. How could she suspect her husband just because of an outsider like Jiao Nan? How could she misunderstand that Wang Yang had been so brutal to his own relative at such a young age? It was murder. This was no game. Even at her age, she dared not even kill a chicken, much less a person. When Zhu Baoqiu had died, her husband had been no more than a child. How could he have been bold enough or capable enough to kill someone? Jiao Nan should have made up a more believable lie if she wanted others to believe her. If Li Yayan thought that way, it was only expected that Mother Zhu was even more doubtful of that since she knew her son more than Li Yayan. That's enough. How could you say such things even if you want to take the Zhu family's assets for yourself? How did the Zai family accept you with such a character? Baoqiu. Even though many years had passed, Mother Zhu still got upset every time Zhu Baoqiu's death was mentioned. Baoqiu's death has nothing to do with Yang Yang. If you don't know anything, you'd better not spout nonsense. Anyone would find your words ridiculous. Although it's a family matter, it's been a long time since it happened. I guess it wouldn't hurt to tell you about it. But there's no way I'll let Yang Yang take the blame for them. When Baoqiu was young, he had a bad temper and didn't like to study. He even got into the company of some hooligans. I don't know why. Those hooligans attacked our Baoqiu. Mother Zhu choked. Those tears weren't crocodile tears, and her nose was running too. She was no actress. Jiao Nan frowned. Mother Zhu was talking about what most people knew, but... Do you really not know that your son was the one who killed Zhu Baoqiu? Was that even possible? Li Yayan stared at Jiao Nan. My mom's made it very clear. Zhu Baoqiu was beaten to death by those hooligans. Why do you have to keep bringing my husband into the picture? Why don't you think about how old my husband was when Zhu Baoqiu died? Fine. Jiao Nan could not even get angry because both Mother Zhu and Li Yayan were useless. It wasn't strange for Li Yayan to be left out of the loop. There was no way the Wang family would have told a new daughter-in-law like Li Yayan that Wang Yang had killed a person. After all, they had already managed to hide the truth for such a long time. What was the point of bringing it to light once more? Were they not afraid that Wang Yang would be caught? Chapter 2337, The Truth That Came Late, 2. But Jiao Nan could not believe that Mother Zhu knew nothing about this matter. In the past, Jiao Nan had always been resentful toward Mother Zhu. After all, Mother Zhu was part of the Zhu family and had grown up being pampered by old Master Zhu and Zhu Qinqi. How vicious she had to be to betray her own family and remain silent even when she knew that her nephew had died a wrongful death. But who would have expected that Mother Zhu was not pretending? She was truly a fool. After understanding the situation, Jiao Nan continued. Yes. Zhu Baoqiu was beaten to death by hooligans, but Wang Yang was the one who sought out those hooligans. Initially, he had not wanted Zhu Baoqiu's life. He had just intended to let these hooligans lead Zhu Baoqiu astray so that Zhu Baoqiu would not make much of his life. I don't know what happened later on, but Zhu Baoqiu died. Wang Yang has to take full responsibility for Zhu Baoqiu's death. I won't talk about why Wang Yang was disgruntled with Zhu Baoqiu and had some ideas toward him at such a young age. I'm sure you know why. Chief Zhu has already made himself very clear by handing all of the Zhu family's assets over to an outsider like me instead of Wang Yang now that Zhu Baoqiu's gone. I'm not afraid of being blunt. I'm willing to give anyone things belonging to the Zhu family, except for Wang Yang. With that, Jiaonan picked her books up and headed for her class without sparing Mother Zhu and Li Yan, who were unable to handle the truth, another gaze. Mother Zhu was an utter failure for having been cheated and lied to by her son to such an extent. No wonder her godfather had never talked about his younger sister, Mother Zhu. He was all too clear that both he and old Master Zhu were to be blamed for Mother Zhu's character. They had spoiled his sister. That was why he had no choice but to admit to his fate that he had spoiled his sister so much that he had lost his own son. "Mom, Mom!" Jiaonan heard Li Yan's voice cry out before she could leave the area. She vaguely heard that someone had fainted, and someone shouting for others to call an ambulance. Of course, this was none of Jiaonan's concern. What she needed to care about was her studies so that she could get a graduation certificate as soon as possible. But Jiaonan's mood had also been affected because of meeting Li Yan and Mother Zhu and talking about Zhu Baoquo's death. When Zai Sheng arrived to pick his wife up, he noticed Jiaonan's sullen face. "What's wrong? Did the Wang family come to look for you again? Didn't you say that you could deal with it? If it's really hard for you, I'll deal with it for you." Zai Sheng was more than happy to help Jiaonan solve these problems. It was just that Jiaonan had not allowed him to do so in the past. As such, Zai Sheng had chosen to respect her decision and had not brought up the matter again. But now that he saw Jiaonan dispirited, Zai Sheng was no longer willing to let Jiaonan have her way. After getting in the car, Jiaonan hugged Zai Sheng's muscular arm and leaned over. "I saw Wang Yang's mother today. It seemed like she knew nothing about how her son killed Zhu Baoquo. Thankfully, the truth won't remain hidden any longer. Although I can already guess the result, I can't help but feel bad for Zhu Baoquo. One was her nephew who had died years ago, while the other was her precious son. There was no way a dead person could compare to a living person." Even though Mother Zhu had not known about the link between Wang Yang and Zhu Baoquo's death earlier, she would never turn Wang Yang in now for the sake of her nephew, Zhu Baoquo. So many years had passed since that incident, and much of the evidence had already been destroyed. There was a low possibility of convicting Wang Yang of manslaughter. If even the law couldn't deal with Wang Yang, would Mother Zhu try always to send Wang Yang to prison? Forget it. In that case, it had been meaningless to let Mother Zhu know about the truth behind Zhu Baoquo's death. Her reaction and attitude were bound to be disappointing. Jiaonan couldn't help but feel aggrieved on behalf of the 3 generations of the Zhu family's men. Mother Zhu said that she had raised Zhu Baoquo like a son, and of course, the reverse was probably true. Mother Zhu was probably like a mother in Zhu Baoquo's eyes too. Under such a situation, Zhu Baoquo had become the one whom Mother Zhu had abandoned. Jiaonan was thankful that Zhu Baoquo was no longer around to face such a cruel reality. Otherwise, Zhu Baoquo would definitely be devastated in the face of such an aunt. Although she knew that, she couldn't help but feel heartache for Zhu Baoquo. Jiaonan completely understood why Zhu Jinqi had left such a will, and the feelings he had had while doing so. He had been hurt too deeply. Zhu Jinqi was not just disappointed in his nephew, Wang Yang, but also his younger sister, Mother Zhu. As such, Jiaonan had been the only one mentioned in his will. They were clearly the ones who had hurt others and disappointed others first. Not only had they not reflected on their mistakes upon hearing the contents of the will, but they had even blamed Zhu Jinqi for being muddle-headed. In the face of such a situation, Jiaonan wanted to slap their mouths. They should at least have a limit to their shamelessness. Jiaonan was not going to go easy on these shameless people. She would say what she had to, scold them as they deserved, and provoke them as much as she should. After her lessons, Jiaonan returned home to spend time with the 3 children, and Zai Sheng told her. "Mother Zhu's been hospitalized. Did I anger her, or did Wang Yang anger her?" Jiaonan was playing with Sanbao and was not affected by Zai Sheng's piece of news. After all, Jiaonan had already guessed whom Mother Zhu would choose between Wang Yang and Zhu Baoqiu. Perhaps, Mother Zhu had been hospitalized because of both her and Wang Yang. Zai Sheng hugged Jiaonan, who was hugging her daughter. The family of three was in a huddle. Unfortunately, such a warm scene was quickly ruined by two rascals. Upon seeing this situation, De Bao and Er Bao immediately crawled to their parents' sides and did their best to squeeze into Zai Sheng's arms to break Zai Sheng and Jiaonan apart. Feeling two chubby figures climbing onto her, Jiaonan sighed. "Brother Zai, hurry and get your sons down. Your children are getting heavier by the day. My back can't stand it. Their calves are really powerful." The moment Jiaonan said that, Zai Sheng frowned and wrestled De Bao and Er Bao off Jiaonan's back and placed them on the floor. "Don't make trouble for your mom. If you're disobedient, I'll smack your backside." Chapter 2338, The Truth That Came Late, 3. If they had been slightly older, he would have immediately thrown them into the army. That was the most reliable way. Having finally separated their clingy parents after a long time, De Bao and Er Bao had no idea what their father was saying. They simply turned their backs and crawled toward Jiaonan again, trying to squeeze with San Bao into Jiaonan's embrace. With no choice, Jiaonan could only stretch her arms and make space for the three children. It was truly not easy for a petite woman like Jiaonan to be hugging all three children at once. "Brother Zai, your three children are getting more demanding every day. What shall I do in the future?" Zai Sheng did not reply to Jiaonan with words. Instead, he replied to Jiaonan with his actions. Zai Sheng raised his hand and landed a few smacks on each of his children's backsides. Then, he handed them over to their grandparents. "Go play with Grandma and Grandpa." Miaojing and Zai Yaowai, who had inadvertently been brought into the picture, were helpless. Had they become their son and daughter-in-law's third wheel by staying at home? Why did it feel so awkward? Their son might dislike their grandchildren, but they didn't mind them at all. Without Zai Sheng needing to repeat himself, Miaojing and Zai Yaowai quickly brought the three children into the playroom. Thankfully, the triplets were still young. Although they were clingy to their mother, it was easy to distract their attention as long as they were not crying. "San Bao, be a good girl. Grandma will play with you." Miaojing stuffed a doll dressed in a dress into San Bao's embrace and she spoke gently. Zai Yaowai didn't say much, but the moment he took out the toy cars, De Bao and Er Bao had already started moving toward him. They picked up a toy car each and started playing with each other. San Bao, who was being treated like a princess, was annoyed and threw aside the adorable doll in her hands. She squeezed up to De Bao and Er Bao's sides and stretched out her chubby hands to snatch her brother's toys. San Bao was impressive indeed. She didn't just want De Bao's car. She also wanted Er Bao's. Both her brother's toy cars were hers. Thankfully, both De Bao and Er Bao seemed to know that San Bao had such a bad habit and very generously allowed San Bao to have their cars. Now that their hands were empty, they each grabbed another one without hesitation. But the brothers seemed to have a tacit understanding and kept their distance from San Bao as though they were trying to prevent San Bao from snatching their cars again. Zai Yaowai could only watch on speechlessly. In reality, Zai Yaowai had wondered if his grandsons had changed their preferences when they had first grabbed those two cars. After all, he remembered that those weren't their favorite cars. But once San Bao appeared, Zai Yaowai realized that his grandsons had already formulated their own plan in dealing with San Bao. Yes, this was a good strategy. His grandsons were indeed from the Zai family. Once they were in the military, no one would be able to defeat his grandsons. Since the three children had left with their grandparents, it was much more convenient for Jiaonan to speak to Zai Sheng. "How's Mother Zhu?" "From what I remember, she's in quite good health. She probably won't remain in the hospital forever like my godfather, right?" No. Zai Sheng allowed Jiaonan to lean into his embrace so that it would be more comfortable for her to read her books. I heard from the hospital that Mother Zhu's condition is fine. It's just that she's old and not as strong as young people. That's why her body couldn't handle the sudden surge of emotions, causing her to faint. In other words, Mother Zhu's body had survived the truth of Zhu Baoqiu's death. No matter what decision the Wang family made, Mother Zhu would make it through. Qiaonan sneered as she flipped the page. That's true. Good people don't live long while evil people live forever. That's exactly what's happening now. With Wang Yang around, Mother Zhu will definitely find a way to prolong her life even if she's not in good health. Wang Yang was already capable of plotting against his cousin at such a young age because of the Wang family. Who knows what he is capable of doing if he remains under the influence of the Wang family. In her opinion, everyone in the Wang family, including Wang Yang's father, was good at deceiving others. It was clear that Wang Yang was especially smart and calculating in front of others. But in the face of the Wang family, Wang Yang seemed to be a fool, putting aside all those scheming thoughts he had toward outsiders. Instead, he presented his purest and simplest self to the Wang family. Although Wang Yang was extremely vicious against the Zhu family, he was painfully loyal to the Wang family. It was because of this that Qiaonan had gotten a huge shock. She had never thought that Wang Yang had such a foolish side to him. In short, the Wang family was brilliant to have raised Wang Yang in this way. Thankfully, that was the Wang family's business, and Qiaonan had no intention to interfere in it. If not for Wang Yang, who insisted on fighting for the Zhu family's inheritance, Qiaonan would not have bothered about Wang Yang or the people around him either. But justice reigned and no one would be spared from their retribution. Even if the law couldn't punish Wang Yang, he would receive his punishment in other ways. Wang Yang had better not even dream about the Zhu family's inheritance. Qiaonan knew that Mother Zhu would definitely choose to protect her son, Wang Yang, even if she didn't feel good about it. After all, it would go against her conscience, and it would be betraying her Zhu family. Mother Zhu's gaze was blank as she stared out of the windows, past her son, who was kneeling by her bedside. All she could think of was what had happened while Zhu Baoqiu had still been alive. The moment Zhu Baoqiu was born, his mother had died. It was Mother Zhu who had raised Zhu Baoqiu, fed him, and changed his diapers. She had had no other choice at that time. Her sister-in-law had passed away, and her own mother had passed on even earlier. She had been the only woman left in the entire Zhu family. Besides, her brother had entirely changed after her sister-in-law had passed away. He stopped coming home and started treating the military as his home instead. Her father was already advanced in age. If she didn't take up the job of caring for her nephew, Zhu Baoqiu, there would be no one else who would do so. Chapter 2339, So What? 2. As such, Zhu Baoqiu had always been particularly close to his aunt from a young age. She remembered clearly that Zhu Baoqiu had cried his eyes out on the day she had gotten married. He had even said to her, "Auntie, can you not leave me? I'll marry you when I grow up. Auntie, don't leave. I can't bear for you to go. What if I can't fall asleep without you by my side?" That adorable and obedient Zhu Baoqiu. Mother Zhu had almost forgotten what Zhu Baoqiu looked like, but suddenly, his image appeared clearly before her eyes. She even remembered the small snippets of her interactions with Zhu Baoqiu before her marriage. She had always thought that her obedient nephew had been brought astray and eventually killed by those hooligans. Who would have known? She glanced at Wang Yang, who was kneeling beside her bed, and wanted him to leave. "All right, stop kneeling here. I'm sure you know that I don't really want to see you. When I look at you, I think about Baoqiu's death. My heart. I've wronged my dad, my brother, and my ancestors. I have no face to see them. Perhaps, I was no longer a Zhu the moment I insisted on marrying your dad and gave birth to you. This is all my fault. I'll have to atone for my sins for 100 years once I meet them after my death." Her son had killed off the entire Zhu family, and her in-laws had always been protecting him. That was why she had never found out about the truth behind her nephew's death. If Jiaonan had not exposed the truth, she might never have found out about how Zhu Baoqiu had died even up until her death. Once she met her family and was lambasted by the entire Zhu family, she might even remain oblivious as to why she was being scolded just because she had been cheated by her own son. "Mom," Wang Yang's voice was hoarse. So many years had passed since Zhu Baoqiu's death, and even Zhu Qinqi had never suspected anything about Zhu Baoqiu's death, much less mentioned it to Wang Yang. It was true that Wang Yang had felt a burden being relieved off him the day that Zhu Qinqi had died. He knew that once Zhu Qinqi died, the last person on earth who cared about Zhu Baoqiu would be gone. From then on, there would be no one who would investigate the truth behind Zhu Baoqiu's death. That way, the only grave mistake he had ever committed in this lifetime would be buried alongside Zhu Qinqi, never to be discovered again. But Wang Yang had never expected that his mom would have thought about Zhu Baoqiu and even found out about the truth while he had been the most relaxed. In fact, his mother had even gotten so emotional over the matter. Perhaps, it was not that Wang Yang had never expected such a reaction from Mother Zhu. It was just that he had hidden the truth so well in the past. Since such a long time had passed since then, especially now that Zhu Qinqi was dead, Wang Yang had thought that his mom would never learn of the truth. It was Jiaonan again. Why was Jiaonan like a ghost who pursued him endlessly? Why did Jiaonan always have to barge in on his family's matters? Jiaonan was a devil. She was purposely taking revenge on him and refusing to return the Zhu family's assets to him just because of the matter with Chen Jun. "Mom, Jiaonan's an outsider. I'm your only son. How could you choose to believe an outsider over me? Brother Baoqiu's death has nothing to do with me. Don't you remember that I was at home the whole day with you on the day of his death? How could you suspect me just because of something an outsider said? You're not even giving me a chance to explain myself. Mom, you're being too unfair to me." Wang Yang had initially been shocked by Mother Zhu's sudden fainting spell, but some time had passed, and he had already calmed himself down. "I'm sure you have some understanding of the kind of person Jiaonan is too. I'm fighting a lawsuit against her at the moment. I'm now her enemy. It's no surprise that she would speak ill of me in front of you. But Mom, how could you take Jiaonan's words seriously? She's maligning me and trying to frame me. She knows that I respect you and she's trying to destroy our relationship. Then, I'll be so distressed that I'll have no time to care about that lawsuit. That's Jiaonan's evil plans. Mom, you can't believe her. You should believe me." As a mother who loved her son, Mother Zhu had the urge to believe her son upon hearing his righteous explanations and seeing him kneel before her. After all, Wang Yang was sincere in his words and no one could even see that he had lied. But it was exactly because of his behavior and actions that Mother Zhu believed that Wang Yang definitely had something to do with Zhu Baoqiu's death. It was not that Mother Zhu was suspicious of Wang Yang or that she could spot something from Wang Yang's expression. It was because she loved her son, Wang Yang, dearly and trusted him the most. As such, she had never suspected her son. Mother Zhu had no idea how Wang Yang looked like when he lied, but she did know how Father Wang looked like when he lied. Mother Zhu spotted a glimpse of Father Wang in Wang Yang, who was eloquently convincing her. That recognition pained Mother Zhu. She had given her whole heart to her son and yet, he was still lying to her at this point in time. Since Yang Yang had truly told a lie, it meant that everything Jiaonan had said was true. Baoqiu's death had not been an accident. It was not that Baoqiu had gone astray. Baoqiu had been deliberately led astray, and the one who had instigated everything was none other than her own biological son. "All right, you don't have to say anything. The more you say, the more heartbroken I feel as a mother. Do you really think I can't tell whether you're telling the truth as a mother? It's because I can differentiate between the truth and a lie that I'm heartbroken. Yang Yang, why have you turned into a person like this? I was happy marrying your dad and I've never regretted it. But now, things are different. It's my fault as a mother that you grew up in the Wang family and became this way. I've wronged the Zhu family. I've wronged you. How was she to have known that the Wang family would have been so evil? They had been so scheming toward her family and had even influenced her son negatively. Earlier on, she had thought that her brother had been crazy to leave behind such a will, leaving all of the Zhu family's assets to an outsider without even mentioning Yang Yang. Chapter 2340, So What? 2. Now, Mother Zhu understood everything. If she was in her brother's position, she would probably have left behind such a will too. It didn't matter whom the Zhu family's assets went to. The important thing was that it would never go to the one who had killed Baoqiu. Yang Yang, if you still take me as your mother, withdraw the lawsuit against Jiao Nan. Stop fighting the lawsuit. You'll never win. You have no rights anyway. Weren't you asking about why your uncle left behind such a will? I can tell you now that your uncle remembered that you were his nephew, and it was because of that that he let you off for Baoqiu's death. Stop thinking about getting the Zhu family's assets. He was truly shameless. She no longer needed Jiao Nan to attack her. Even Mother Zhu admitted that Wang Yang was no longer qualified to be the master of the Zhu family or to inherit the Zhu family's assets after he had done such an unforgivable thing. The Zhu family owed Wang Yang nothing. Conversely, it was Wang Yang who owed the Zhu family. Mother Zhu still remembered the kind of life old Master Zhu and Zhu Chenqi had lived after Zhu Baoqiu's death. Mother Zhu was completely unable to accept that her only son had been the sole reason for her family's tragedy and misery. Unfortunately, that was the truth no matter how brutal it was. Mother Zhu had no choice but to accept it. Mom, Wang Yang's face turned green. He had never expected his mother to say such words to him. In that moment, Wang Yang's heart wavered. He was unsure if he should ask why Mother Zhu was so sure that he had killed Zhu Baoqiu, or whether Zhu Chenqi had already known about this matter. If he were to ask about the latter, he would be admitting to being involved in Zhu Baoqiu's death. But Wang Yang could not hold it in. He had never imagined that Zhu Chenqi had already known about the truth behind his son's death, just like how he had never worried that Mother Zhu would suspect him of being involved in Zhu Baoqiu's death. But Wang Yang had been wrong in both matters. He was utterly confused and he couldn't help but doubt himself. Mom, don't listen to what Jiao Nan says. She's making up stories. I'm telling you that I had nothing to do with Brother Baoqiu's death. Everyone knows that it was those hooligans who beat Brother Baoqiu to death. I was at home the entire day and I didn't even get out of the house that day. Besides, you understand my uncle's temper the best. If I was the one who killed Brother Baoqiu, he would have dealt with me a long time ago. Think about it. Although he had never treated me like his son. It's only because of his help through the years that I have made it this far. Do you think he would have helped me if I had caused Brother Baoqiu's death? Yes, Jiao Nan had deceived his mom. He could not afford to panic, much less admit to his involvement in Zhu Baoqiu's death. Zhu Chenqi's attitude was the best proof. Who would treat his son's killers so well? Not only had Zhu Chenqi not dealt with him, but he had even helped him. Zhu Chenqi had simply chosen not to hand over the Zhu family's assets to him after his death. What kind of punishment was that? If he was Zhu Chenqi, he would definitely deal with his son's killer such that he would never be able to live well. Mother Zhu shut her eyes. Yang Yang was still arguing even now. There was not a single truth coming out from his mouth. Yes, she loved Baoqiu, and she couldn't help but shiver upon thinking about how Yang Yang had killed Baoqiu. The problem was that if she had to make a choice between Baoqiu and Yang Yang, she would definitely choose Yang Yang as a mother, ignoring the truth behind Baoqiu's death. After all, Baoqiu had already been dead for 20 years. All along, everyone had thought that it was Baoqiu who had gone astray and had provoked the wrong people, leading to his eventual demise. As Baoqiu's aunt, she could only selfishly ask for Baoqiu's forgiveness on her son's behalf, taking this secret to her grave so that no one mentioned it ever again. Mother Zhu had the heart to protect Wang Yang, but Wang Yang's lies hurt her dignity as a mother. After all, no mother would be happy with their son lying through their noses even after they had been exposed, causing their relationship to deteriorate. She had dedicated her entire life to her son, Wang Yang, and had never wronged him. Why could Wang Yang be so open and frank with his father but full of lies in front of his mother? This child was truly from the Wang family. All right, don't say anything. I feel worse every time you say something. It seems like my advice went over your head. I see you share a very good relationship with your dad and keep nothing from him. Perhaps, you feel happy carrying the burden of the entire Wang family because your dad told you to do so. I'll let you listen to your dad. I'm sure you'll be happy about it. There were some things that Mother Zhu had not understood in the past. But now that she had discovered that Wang Yang had something to do with Zhu Baoquo's death, Mother Zhu could imagine just how much the Wang family must have been involved as well. That was why the Zhu family had not been able to find out anything regarding Zhu Baoquo's death. After all, Wang Yang had even lied to his mother. No wonder Father Wang always said that their son owed it to the Wang family and wanted him to get back the Zhu family's assets to repay the Wang family. She had been confused since the Wang family's background had never matched up to the Zhu family's. Within the first few years of her marriage, the Wang family seemed to have lost everything, and the Wang family's relatives had always been coming to them to get money. Initially, Mother Zhu had been reluctant. After all, this was all her money. In the future, it would all belong to Wang Yang. What if she could no longer provide for her son when he needed it since she had given it all to the Wang family? The Wang family was still miles apart from hers. But every time Mother Zhu refused these requests, Father Wang would coax Mother Zhu, saying that it hadn't been easy for his brothers and that they had helped him in the past too. Because of that, Mother Zhu reluctantly agreed to keep the peace in the family. Now, there was no need to think about it anymore. The Wang family was in such a dire situation because they had emptied their pockets to protect Wang Yang. That was the real reason. There was a perfect explanation for Father Wang's words and Wang Yang's attitude all along. In that case, everyone in the Wang family knew exactly how Zhu Baoquo had died. She had been the only fool who had been kept in the dark.